The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Canucks fans, they need Kyle Bhawan tonight because Kyle Bhawan says this is the best loss of the season. What?
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome to the postcast here on Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks and also a Canucks writer with Daily Hive Vancouver. And as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Kyle Bhawan. He's feeling good, unlike JT Miller and those who paid to go see a Canucks game at Rogers Arena tonight. Not only did the Canucks lose, they lost JT Miller. Not only did they lose JT Miller, but there was no streakers, okay? There were streakers in Vancouver tonight, but not at the Canucks game, unfortunately.
No boobies, no boobies.
No boobies tonight at the Canucks game. Unless you want to say that Tyler Myers and Carson Soucy are a pair of boobies right now, because man, oh man, they're looking jiggly and loose out there, man. Unfortunate for the Vancouver Canucks. Let's get into everything that surrounded the Canucks regarding their 5-3 loss to the Nashville Predators tonight. And Kyle, why don't you kick it off, man? Why do you think this was the best loss of the season?
Bro, I don't know if it's because I started eating sandwiches again with lettuce, but I just felt as if I was watching a good game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought the Canucks were skating hard in the last 40 minutes. I also thought this was another moment in this season. Again, we're playing in November, people. November. These things don't matter. You know what matters? Progress, especially right now when the Canucks have already stockpiled a bunch of points, okay? I know we're losing at home a lot, blah, blah, blah. But, again, bank those points in your conscience and just look at the progress. I feel as if in the last 40 minutes, we played hard, we played quick, and man, oh man, Pettersson is looking better and better. I know. Something happened to Miller, but Miller's been playing hurt the whole season. I feel like he's not going to miss the game against the Rangers. My heart is telling me that, okay? For real. But even when Miller was out in the third period, dude, the boys played hard. I applaud that effort. And again, led by Pettersson and Garland, but Pettersson more specifically, all over the ice, trying to lay the body to in the third period, just being engaged. And again, when I look back at this month, maybe our record doesn't look quote unquote sexy, but if it's the month that Pettersson comes alive, then we won the month.
Man, oh man, yeah. I like your optimism here, Kyle, and I kind of need it on a night like tonight because, I might go in the other direction for a second, because here, the way I look at it right now is the Canucks, for the most part this season, again, they've won 9 games. They have not really beaten many, if any, good teams, right? I know they beat the Florida Panthers for their first win in overtime, but it's been a bunch of wins against teams who aren't very good. And to me, I see that Predators team tonight. Look, they lost 8 of the last 10 games coming into this.
Oh, man.
They just lost to the Oilers. They just lost to the Flames. And look, I think Nashville's better than the record indicates right now. I've watched a couple Predators games this season where they just look slow. They had moments in this game where they looked slow. But this game, like you said, Kyle, there was a lot of back and forth, right? There were moments where the Canucks kind of took over and they were giving it to the Preds. And then the Preds came on, they were giving it to the Canucks a little bit. The Canucks were kind of looking slow and tired at some points. And then, of course, when they're down by 2 in the third, they start to pour it on. But it's a little bit too late at that point. But the Vancouver Canucks so far this season, again, it's only November. This is a team that's still 9-5-3. They're still in a playoff spot. These are all good things. But I look at this Canucks team and I'm wondering, how are they going to compete against the contenders come April, right? Because right now in November, they are not looking so good against teams who are actually good. And Kyle, what did we say against the Blackhawks last night? I mean, you wanted the dominant win. They got the win, maybe not in dominant fashion. And tonight against the Predators, it was an even hockey game, right? Kevin Lankinen allows 4 goals on 20 shots. Hello. Reefer Sherwood gets a goal. Hello. But again, I just wonder, this Canucks team right now, as currently constructed, I'm starting to have my doubts about how they're going to compete against the contenders coming April. Man. Tell me I'm wrong, man. Hear me up, man. Because right now in the comments right now, Kurt Richardson also saying another horrible home performance. Kyle, help me and the people out here.
Bro, again, what's going on? Are my glasses working? I don't know. There's actually a little coffee stain on my glasses. Okay, F these glasses. Bro, it wasn't that bad. And bro, you bring up the Predators losing 8-10 and being the worst team in hockey, blah, blah, blah. And, dude, they lost 8-10. Eventually, things are going to go their way. Speaking of which, they sucked today. The Canucks were the better team. But what happened? They played Soros. They weren't playing Lankinen. They weren't. And I'm not even trying to take a complete shot at Lankinen. 4 goals on 20 shots is not good, but I just want people to understand that, like, Nashville, yeah, they lost Lankinen, but they still have one of the best goalies in the league, and he played pretty well tonight. He really did. And you look at some of the breakdowns the Canucks had on the penalty kill that, allowed Stamkos to do his thing and whatnot. Stamkos had 2 good looks. Again, we talk about the Predators losing 8-10 and this bad start, and this is after they spent all this money and they brought in Hall of Famer Stamkos. Hey, Hall of Famer mustard salt? You never know. All right? Coolest name in the league. All in all, eventually things are going to work for them once in a while. It's life. You want these guys to go to hell or something and play bad forever? Things are going to go their way, and they got lucky tonight. They got lucky, but again, we look back at November, and you're I'm going to help you out, okay? I'm going to help you out because now you're jumping all the way to April. Stay in the moment, okay? For real. Relax. Drink some eggnog. It's the holidays. Relax. This stuff doesn't matter too much. But when we are in April and we look back at like this thing that you're doing and trying to connect this November team to the April team, I think you're going to nod your head looking back at this month, seeing that, again, Pettersson is waking up. And, I'm going to talk about a guy that you've been bringing up all season long, and that's Kiefer Sherwood. Like, this guy could be another high value piece in the playoffs. Like, he's got it. Another one of those guys. All in all, I like losing games like this. Like, how many times have the Canucks lost games this season where they just been dog shit, and been so bad and so pathetic? This wasn't one of those cases. The Predators got lucky. The Canucks lost the game. It is what it is. Pettersson's back. Relax. Hug your kids. Hug your family. Feed your dog. Relax, okay? Don't go to sleep tonight depressed and forget to put water in your dog's bowl, okay? It's not that deep.
Yeah, I like the optimism, buddy. And Harry, how about this for some optimism, right? Jonathan Marchessault and Steven Stamkos, right? The 2 big offseason additions for the Predators. And I'll say this. I was going about at the halfway mark of that game saying, where is Steven Stamkos? And you look at the stats at even strength. And Steven Stamkos, I think he was on a line with Colton Sissons, and I can pull it up too quick, but he was also on a line with Luke Evangelista. That line was brutal at even strength for the Predators. Shot attempts 13-2 for the Canucks who were on the ice. But Stamkos, where he does his damage is on the power play. And the other place he does his damage is at Rogers Arena, where he now has 11 goals in 10 games at Rogers Arena.
Wow.
The Canucks scored his 500th career goal in this building as well. And you know what? Maybe that power play, being a power play specialist, might not be worth $8 million a season. But he did damage to the Canucks tonight. But overall, the Nashville Predators are paying Jonathan Marchessault $5.5 million a season. Stamkos $8 million a season. These are guys we talked about in June about could the Canucks target these guys. I think we lean no, but there was some intrigue there. Instead, the Canucks signed Kiefer Sherwood. Kiefer the Reefer Sherwood, 2 years at $1.5 million. And there's no doubt that Kiefer Sherwood is a better signing than either of those 2 guys. Not only is he hits, he's pretty much got the same amount of points as Jonathan Marchessault and Steven Stamkos. He's now got 9 points in 17 games this season. And when I look at Stamkos, he's up to 11 points. Marchessault is at 10 points. So Kiefer Sherwood right there with the guys who essentially replaced him in Nashville.
Yeah, he's doing his thing, and I like how you spent all that time talking about the Nashville Predators and breaking down all this data, and they're just a fascinating team in sport, I would say, real talk. But I also love how you ended it on the whole Reefer Sherwood thing, because they'd be a better team if they kept Kiefer Sherwood. They would be a way better team. This guy's playing like a high. I wouldn't say a high ceiling player, but again, a high value player, a guy you're going to notice every game. Real talk. That's great. That's phenomenal. And some of the goals he scored this season, again, stats your shot, right? He's been talking about it all the time. Call this guy the next Pavel Bure, I think. I may be paraphrasing. Or was it the next Ovechkin? I don't know. But he's living up to it, kind of, man. Some of these goals are unorthodox, but they're, they're behind a heavy stick. A lot of top shelves. I'm liking it. Anyways, can you pull out a comment though from this guy? Someone's like Kyle's blind if he's watching this stuff and watching our defense is saying like this team's gonna be fine in April. I don't know where you put all that rhetoric together and thought it was coming out of my mouth, bro. I never talked about the defense yet, okay? And I think we got to say this if we're gonna talk about the defense. Juleson and Brandstrom not perfect, but that they played above their weight class today. They really did. I feel as if this team more specifically has. I'd love to look at the film, has lost a lot of games due in large part to Soucy and Myers. Bro, they've been Spiza Bieksa-like for a very long time. We're almost entering game number 20, and they've been horrible. I mean, look at the play that Myers made on the first Predators goal before they established pressure. You know how they established pressure? Because Myers made the most laziest play, just a mistake-heavy play. What are you doing? You should be better than that, or should you? Again, these two playing like they're, supposed to be the number 3 or 4 defenseman in the eyes of Adam Foote and Rick Tocchet, and just based on the arsenal this team has, and that's the biggest problem right now. Those two have been like so responsible for such big lapses time in and time out in the defensive zone. All that being said, it wasn't that bad today collectively for the team, but again, those two, man, oh man, just been horrible, responsible for a lot of the damage.
Yeah, and the comments are blowing up with that right now. I'll get to the first one that was saying that basically you got the rose-colored glasses on here. Missed it right now, but anyways, a lot of the comments saying that sit Carson Soucy and play DPD. The Day Hronek and Forbort signings were terrible. I like how in the comments those two guys are taking heat even though they didn't play today. And here another one right here has Eric Branson made Soucy expendable for an upgrade in the top 4. I mean, that's getting spicy in the comments, man. And it's hard to blame the commenters for their frustration. I mean, that first goal, Carson Soucy loses this guy. Tyler Myers gets caught up high. And it just seems like game after game right now, there's a mistake from those guys. And lo and behold, tonight, in terms of possession, those two guys, Carson Myers, yeah, pulling together the same damn player right now. Both the worst Canucks in terms of possession tonight. But part of it, I'm blaming the coaching staff as well. And we'll get into it more after the break here, but I'm going to throw this out. Carson Soucy and Tyler Myers spent the majority of their night going up against Philip Forsberg, Gustav Nyquist, and Ryan O'Reilly, a line that tormented the Canucks in the playoffs last season. Yeah, I know the Canucks obviously beat the Predators in 6 games, but those 3 guys gave the Canucks absolute headaches in the postseason. So with Adam Foote and Rick Tocchet, I don't know if they're just thinking that Tyler Myers and Carson Soucy are going to play their way out of it, but they didn't put them in position to succeed tonight, putting them against the Predators' top line.
Well, why are you surprised, bro? They did this. They wanted these guys to stop McDavid. You know what I'm saying? I felt as if they much rather have played those guys ahead of Quinn Hughes when it came to, again, what are we going to do when McDavid's on ice? Ridiculous. I think, again, these two, you know what they need to do, Trevor? And we'll get to break right after this. They need to realize that size doesn't matter all the time, okay? You could do things with the small, with a small stick. You get what I'm saying? Just because you got the biggest stick in the world doesn't mean you got to get all the minutes and play against all the big dogs, okay? Try to handle, you know what I'm saying? Do something else. Look at Brandstrom. Again, size don't matter. That's why I want to see Brandstrom play more. I think he's, it's crazy to say this because I actually think he's been pretty damn good. Like, again, the whole confidence thing, he might be reaching his potential. Like, this might be the year. It takes longer for a lot of people, okay? I feel as if I wouldn't say single-handedly, because we also have Quinn Hughes doing magical things too. I think both those guys are probably humbling Foote and Tocchet's philosophy just a bit, just a bit. As far as like getting trees, because they brought up Darnay too, who's injured, and Forsberg, who's injured as well. We're dark. We're going to hell for that, by the way. Come on, we can talk about it's game set. Trevor, get to break.
All right, let's get to break again. Lots of comments to get to on the other side here, specifically about the defense. And let's talk about solutions for the defense, other defensemen taking heat in the comments, and what's next for this Canucks defense. All that and more coming up on the other side after we shout out our friends over at Indeed and PrizePicks. You know the deal, baby. If you're looking for a job, okay, it's time to get off the couch, stop scratching your sack, and go get paid, baby. So if you're looking for a job or you're an employer looking to hire, you need to use Indeed, okay? Because they are your leveraging and hiring platform to make it easier to find work, whether, again, you're looking for work or you're an employer. So Indeed, they don't just help you hire faster, okay? 93% of employers agree that Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to a recent Indeed survey, okay? One of the things I love about Indeed is that they get me paid, baby. Otherwise, I'd be recording a podcast outside. Wait a minute. I am outside. What the? Okay, all right. Indeed, they leverage over 140 million qualifications and preferences every day, and their matching engine is constantly learning from your preferences. So the more you use Indeed, the better it gets. All right, listeners of the show, guess what? You'll get a $75 sponsored job credit. Wow. To get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/lockedon. Just go to Indeed.com/lockedon right now and say you about her and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this very podcast. Indeed.com/lockedon. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed, baby. All right. And once you get paid on Indeed, make sure you go take some of that money and go check out PrizePicks, okay? Because if you're playing daily fantasy sports, you got to check out PrizePicks, okay? Not sure if they had any prop bets about a streaker being at the Grey Cup today, but hey, if they did, man, oh man, you could have made some money, okay? But when you're on PrizePicks, they are the place to go because they got over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, okay? And you can also win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with this little S4 correct picks, okay? Heading into next week, what do you think? Is Elias Pettersson going to keep this goal streak going? Is Connor Garland going to still be a first-line player, keep piling up the points? Is JT Miller going to get in the lineup and get at least a point? Kevin Lankin, is he going to pick up a win next week, okay? Again, bet more or less on picks like that, and you can win up to 100 times your cash, baby. So sign up for PrizePicks today and get $50 instantly when you play just $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed, okay? So download that PrizePick app today and use code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's time to run your game, baby. All right, we're back here on Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs. That guy is Kyle Bhawan. Again, if you haven't done so already and you like what you're doing, go subscribe, like this video on YouTube. On the podcast side, you can follow us there and leave a good old 5-star review. Okay, if you don't like the way Susie Mars is playing, leave a 5-star review. And if you think Eric Brandstrom needs a higher spot in the lineup, then go leave a 5-star review, baby.
Oh,
and here's the thing I'm thinking about the Canucks defense, right? We've talked all along about how this team needs to acquire.
Okay, stop talking about the D so much. You're so addicted to the D. Slow it down, baby. Come on, relax. You don't gotta hold on to the D so tight on this episode, okay? What the F's going on with JT Miller? I know I brushed it over with some confidence. Don't worry, he'll be back against the Rangers. But I don't know. You want to talk about that? What are your thoughts? Did you see something? Maybe my glasses weren't working, but what do you think's going on there?
Well, I didn't see anything of significance, to be honest. But Rick Tocchet, we have a quote from it now in the post-game press conference. And Rick Tocchet said, I just went with the guys, quote, I just went with the guys that I thought could get us back in the game. When he was asked about JT Miller's ice time in the third period. And he wasn't one of the guys I thought could get us back in the game. And he clarified that the benching had nothing to do with the potential injury. So maybe in our headline, JT Miller, he wasn't necessarily banged up physically, but banged up mentally. That is an interesting comment from Rick Tocchet. And I'll say this. Look, JT Miller, I thought, looked a tad slower tonight. He wasn't really making a difference through the first two periods. I thought the fourth line had a pretty good game. Obviously, they chipped in a goal there. I was feeling in the first period that this fourth line was due for a goal, and lo and behold, they get one. Elias Pettersson, he's been going. I still think the third line has had some slow moments. Dakota Joshua is still trying to find his footing. So I would agree with Tocchet that was the weakest line tonight. I kind of like most people thought that JT Miller was just dealing with an injury, but apparently he wasn't banged up. He was just benched by Rick Tocchet.
Bang, bang. He shot him down. Straight up. Hey, like I said, progress, baby. Okay, progress. Rick Tocchet's tough again. Straight up. And I think some people may look at this and think, oh, well, why is he benching JT Miller and why didn't he bench Pettersson? Okay, when Pettersson was struggling, why is he only relax? Again, Rick Tocchet, admittedly so, was soft before, okay? He was a softer man. And now he's hard again. And you know what I say, Trevor? When men are hard, we are great. So Rick Tocchet's back to being great, and he's sending a message, and it's on a back-to-back. You're down by 2 goals, and you're not like JT Miller. It's like, yo, Ratu played a really good well today, and you want to talk about progress? Ratu's best game of the season today. Play some more minutes, replace JT Miller. Let's send a message. Ooh, that's something. That's beautiful. That's music to my ears, man. Again, these things in November, these points we beat a lot of shitty teams. We picked up a lot of points. I know I have a lot of pessimism towards that outcome too, because the standards are so high. But in reality, we banked a lot of points. Relax, chill out, and just look at the progress. And Trevor Beggs, I don't know about you, but I kind of like that move by Tocchet. This guy's hard again.
Yeah, and you know what? I will give kudos to Rick Tocchet too, because I think what were we saying earlier this week, Kyle, and everydayers know. We've said time and time again that Rick Tocchet again strikes the balance between being a player's coach and a bit of a hard ass. And I think he lost that hard ass mentality a little bit, right? He was becoming just more of a player's coach. It was becoming a bit of a country club atmosphere. And, they have a couple hard days of practice, and then, they go and have a better performance against Chicago. Again, it's just Chicago. And in the game against Nashville, look, I would agree the JT Miller line wasn't necessarily going. Now what I want to see is Soucy and Myers diminish their ice time. Okay, great job. You're keeping JT Miller accountable. Keep Tyler Myers and Carson Soucy accountable, man. My God, okay? Eric Branson, again, still being played like a third pair defenseman, right? He plays 15 minutes and 15 seconds today. Noah Juleson, 13-17, whereas Tyler Myers plays 19-16, Carson Soucy, 17-30, okay? Myers gets the bump because of the PK minutes, but Eric Branson and Noah Juleson, they absolutely deserve more ice time. Maybe it's mostly Branson right now.
Yeah.
But look, I think Noah Juleson had some good moments tonight too, and I kind of want to see Noah Juleson getting a bit of a rhythm here, to be honest with you. He's been in and out of the lineup. It's been a lot of time in the press box. And I think we saw last season when Noah Juleson got a stretch of games, he looked good. And Tyler Myers and Carson Soucy have had a stretch of games where they have looked porous. So, again, it's time to give those two guys a bit of a promotion here. And it's going to be really interesting to see what they do against the New York Rangers because, based on what we've seen, I'm pretty sure it's going to be more of Tyler Myers and Carson Soucy. But Branson and Juleson, I think, deserve more minutes here.
So, speaking of deserving more minutes, I think there's a good chance Sheloff starts on Tuesday. And Lankin has had to have allowed like at least 21, 22 goals in his last 4 to 5 starts. I don't know. Bro, he's been on the hook for a lot. And you want to talk about accountability. That's not good enough. It isn't. Beggsy, man, welcome back. This is honestly the greatest loss ever. You got to count your losses. Sometimes you got to make love to your losses, okay? And I'm making love to this loss tonight. Play the saxophone right now, okay? Can everyone just get groovy? Can everyone just get groovy right now? Sometimes you got to take an L and still cuddle with it. And that's what I'm doing tonight.
Oh man, I love when we play that drop, man. Okay, let's get to some comments here. Most people in the comments have Eric Branson's back, is including SK93, third best D-man so far, and that's scary. Okay, he cleared waivers a month ago, and that's actually an interesting point from SK93 because again, Branson was a throw in the trade. We talked about it time and time again, and here he is performing like the Canucks' best defenseman here. There's one comment here from a dude who I can't put the name up here. I'm sorry, your username would get us in trouble with the head of Hondas at Locked On, but he was saying that Branstrom's a little bit overrated here. He allowed a couple breakaways tonight, on-man rushes. I was taking care of kids a little bit while I was watching the game. Maybe I missed that, but I just think Branstrom deserves the opportunity to play more minutes. He is a better option than Tyler Myers and Carson Soucy. Look, he got out-muscled on the Foligno goal or the Mikheyev goal against the Blackhawks. Look, he's not a perfect player, but right now he's better than the options that are in the top 4. So give the guy more minutes. Again, if talk is going to keep guys accountable, you got to have Eric Branson play more minutes for this team right now.
Dude, why don't we open up that wormhole that you began to open up like 2 or 3 minutes ago, okay? I'm going to ask you the question and give me the most case in point answer out there, okay? Why do you think Tocchet and Foot haven't used that button on either Soucy or Myers? The whole benching them. Is it just easier to still have a good game plan benching a forward as opposed to a defenseman, like just based on the numbers? Like, why do you think that hasn't happened? Because Miller wasn't perfect, but if we're judging it off of making mistakes and not being at your best and all that jazz, like send a message with Myers, right? Do it.
I think the reason is there's just not that trust in Branstrom yet. I mean, like SK93 said, this is a guy that was in the AHL a little over a month ago. This was a guy who was, more or less a throw-in in the trade with Tucker Poolman. So I think it has to do with the fact that they don't fully trust Branstrom yet. And, again, kudos to Branstrom. I think he did a good job of, rebounding after getting out muscled on the Chicago's only goal the other night. He is still an imperfect player. He's still a smaller guy, and he's a guy that doesn't fit the MO of what the Canucks want to do on defense. But again, I think this coaching staff needs to wake the F up because the guys who do fit what they want to do on defense, like Carson Soucy and Tyler Myers, are just sucking right now. And the other guys who fit the MO of what they want to do, Derek Forbort, again, we've barely seen him here, so it's hard to criticize him. But Noah Juleson's looked better than Vinny D so far. So, again, I think the Canucks need to seriously take a look in the mirror here. And, try something different on defense, man. And Kyle, I wanted to bring this up to you as we get to a few comments before we get out of here. But Carmen Graywell in the comments also saying that Hronek needs to be better too. He's got the contract, and you can't just piggyback off of Quinn Hughes. Look, I actually thought Phil Hronek for the most part was pretty good tonight. We talk about the defense and the MO of this team. I think Phil Hronek is actually a pretty physical player. He had a couple moments today where he was looking physical. He's had some moments recently where maybe defensive lapse has been there, but for the most part, I think he's a really good player.
No, I think he's a really good player, but I think what's the commenter's name again?
Carmen Graywell, sorry.
Carmen Graywell. I think Carmen is, I guess I'm going to speak for him. I think he's alluding to Hronek needing to be someone who takes more initiative offensively without leaning into his first option 85% of the time, which is making a perfect pass to Quinn Hughes. And I think it is time for this decor to obviously make a change. And if that's not via the trade, then it's via shaking things up and taking a Hughes and a Hronek and just splitting them up, balancing out your lineup, and seeing if Hronek with more responsibility also looks forward to establishing himself as a prime offensive weapon on a shift. You know what I'm saying? Like get more involved, get your confidence going, because there's a lot of times he does just swing it over to Hughes, which again works out quite a bit. Like they still create chaos, but I'm interested to see if Mr. 7.2, whatever the math is, can do it on his own and possibly play better. Like if we're experimenting here, benching JT Miller, doing all these things, like calling up DPD, maybe DPD is about to play a game. Juleson's playing. Like if we're throwing people in there, like let's just see Hronek in a run of games by himself, like with somebody else. I'm down.
And we talked about it time and time again. I think Susie and Hronek is something that they experimented with a little bit in the preseason. They experimented with it in the Devils game briefly when they were down by a bajillion goals. But I think this team has to consider everything right now. And I don't know, overreacting. And Kyle, like you said, it was the best loss of the season. But it's just been a long stretch of games.
Well, name a better loss. Name a damn better loss if you think I'm lying. Trevor, you calling me a liar? You calling me a damn liar?
I got selective memory, man. I erased the Canucks losses out of my head.
This was the best loss of the season. And bro, even if I'm ignoring like big parts of the first period and some of the breakdowns in the second, I just loved most of the hustle in the last 40 minutes, especially in the third period. The game was close. I feel like Nashville got lucky, and booyah. Let's end it on this note. You don't even have to elaborate. Yo, Pettersson's back. He's got to shoot more. Ironically, he scored on a one-timer. I've seen better Pettersson one-timers, but hey, he scored on a one-timer. But he's back. And if you guys want to, again, cuddle this L a bit more and be on my side, take what I'm taking, right? Take what I'm taking tonight. Go look at what he tried to do with like 2 minutes left in the game when he tried laying the reverse hit along the right side of the boards in the defensive zone when they're trying to, gain possession back of the puck. Like, this guy's a dog right now. And he was so good defensively today as well. Just when he's skating like that and he's moving like that and he's also putting it into action and executing, it's refreshing to see him do so because it's like fun to see Pettersson play again. And again, I think that's worth a loss to the Nashville Predators in November, for real.
Yeah, 100%. And look, we've talked about it before, right? In the first month of the season when Petey wasn't going, Miller's playing pretty good. I want to say it was more the bottom six and Connor Garland stepping up. But again, Patrick Allvin's assembled a good team. So, I mean, I certainly expect them to make the playoffs, and I expect them to win a lot of hockey games just because of the depth, right? Helps that they have pretty good goaltending. I know not the best night from Lankinen tonight, although hard to blame on any of the goals. He had defensive breakdowns. Defensive breakdown on the first goal. Great shot by Yossi on the third goal. Couple of snipes by Stamkos on the power play. Maybe you want the second one back a little bit, but it's still Steven Stamkos on the power play. Overall, a good floor. But what I'm getting to here is JT Miller hasn't been great for a couple of games now. I know he was good against Calgary, but it's been on and off for him. But Elias Pettersson, baby, he is back, like you said, and Kyle, a great note to end on, and that makes me feel good, man. Come on, let's go.
Yo, we good, baby. Who cares? You can lose another 4 straight. I don't care. If he's playing like this, it's all good, man.
There we go. Pettersson's back, and we'll be back tomorrow on another episode of Locked On Canucks. Shout out to the everydayers, occasional listeners, first-time listeners, new subscribers, and those of you who joined us on the live show.
I want to say something too here, man.
All right.
Like, I got to remind the people, man. I'll take 20 seconds, okay? You're never going to go 82-0. Like, progress matters in these months. I've watched a lot of sports. Again, taking the progress more so than the result. Taking the individual performance sometimes as well, because you need your superstars playing like superstars, okay? And no team goes 82-0. You know the only thing in the world that goes 82-0 and then undefeated in the playoffs, Trevor? It's my girlfriend. What's up, baby?
And hey, last year too, Canucks started strong, and they went. Canucks also went win-loss all through November last season, and it ended up being just fine, baby. So let's get out of here, man.